I don't want what those people have because I'm not willing anymore to sacrifice what they have to sacrifice in order to have what they have and to continue doing what they're doing.
The banyan tree is a tree unlike others, a representation of resilience and strength through its ability to overcome the status quo and fulfill its purpose.
It knew that it was meant for something bigger and didn't allow the limits of other trees to confine its growth.
And our story looks similar. I'm Leslie.
And I'm Mindy. And our hope is that every one of our listeners learns to take up all the space they were created to, just like the banyan tree. Welcome back to the Banyan Effect podcast. I am your solo host for the day, Mindi Kessenich. And a little bit of housekeeping here. I cannot get my Shure microphone to show up. So I apologize if our audio today is not what it usually is. If you're watching on YouTube, just understand that I need this microphone in front of me, even though it's not working, just to remind me that I'm on a podcast. And secondly, I just want to share a little bit about why you're stuck with just me today. So Leslie is continuing her growth path, and she has recently accepted a new position, which I'm sure she will share with you as soon as she is able to pop on here. And for the time being, she's got to settle in and figure out how to be present and have enough energy to facilitate this new job and what it's going to look like for her family. And so we are going to do our best to just keep this podcast going by recording individually as we each have time versus trying to get our two crazy schedules together, because between the two of us, we have 5 kids, 4 dogs, a cat, and 7 chickens, not to mention husbands and their careers and all of the other things that life blesses us with. So we are just trying something new so that we can keep coming at you, because we both still have just so much that we want to provide for you, our audience. So please show up for us and give us those recommendations. Share these episodes if they are helpful to you with your friends or family members, and leave us a review if you haven't done so already. It just kind of helps us keep going as we are fighting through to just continue showing up for you, because it is this super important passion project to us, but it takes a lot of time and energy outside of our already very busy lives. So we could use some encouragement. That being said, today I want to talk to you about redefining success and what that looks like for you as an individual. And part of this topic comes from some personal experience that I just literally came off of last week. So I'm going to start with a little bit of story time just to kind of let you know where I'm at, where my head's at. And I hope that it will provide you with a little bit of insight and just some questions to start asking yourself. If you are feeling at all overwhelmed or a little bit lost, this could be a great episode for you. So last week I went to a conference out in Salt Lake City, Utah. And the conference was for team leaders in real estate. And it was designed to provide value to team leaders and help them kind of grow their teams or grow their business or grow in whatever way that they were looking to grow within their teams. And so, as you can imagine, a lot of the people that were speaking at this event were like number one producers. Like they were like the top producing agents of the top producing agents, a couple of them, like just have really impressive businesses, and they're doing all the things, and they're just like living this incredible life, right? And if this is your first time listening, if you don't know me at all, I just have to preface with the fact that I am a very high D. I am a type A. I am an Enneagram 3, which means I am a recovering type 3. I'm changing my tune here, which means that I find all of my value, or I did find all of my value anyways, little teaser there, in accomplishments and accolades and income and just that idea of winning. And I've been on this journey of sort of realizing that, when the calendar flips over to January 1 and you're faced with basically starting all over, it's like, is this really it? Is this really what I'm chasing? Is this these accomplishments? Or is it something else? So we always talk about on this podcast the concept of staying curious. And I have to give myself a little pat on the back on that one, because I really feel like that is something that I have done really well since, kind of coming on this journey of personal growth. And so as I start to ask myself, I listened to these speakers last week and I'm like, there was a part of me that definitely felt some oxygen in a flame that had been kind of flickering out, honestly. Like, I heard what they're doing. I saw, of course, the first thing I did was go to their social media and I'm like, oh, they're so impressive. They're so perfect. They got it all. And so there was a little bit of oxygen on that flame that I am kind of trying to snuff out, honestly, that said, yes, I want to go after it. I want to conquer the world. I want to be the number one real estate agent in all of the entire world. And then I noticed myself by the end of the day feeling really crappy about myself, honestly. Like I paid a close attention to what was going on in my head, and it wasn't pretty, guys. It was like, you're not good enough. You're never going to do that. You're never going to look like that. Well, they're so much younger than you. I mean, you name the doubt, the disbelief, the limiting belief, they were all coming at me. And I was alone at this conference. So they were like really loud. And I took myself on a walk downtown Utah, and it was like the slowest walk I could have ever taken. There was like no pressure. I just needed to sit with myself and listen to those voices so that I could decide how I wanted to respond to them. And what I realized was super magical. And it was that I think that I needed to show up at that conference so that I could reconfirm to myself what I have been working towards over the last several months, which is to really build this life that I love versus building a business that my specific industry is telling me that I should have or even should want. And I don't mean to tie this into real estate at all, but I think that a lot of us in our lives, whether it's parenting, whether it's our careers, whether it's where we're living or how we're living or whatever, there are so many lies. And I say lies because maybe there are some truths as well, but we can't any longer distinguish them. We cannot any longer differentiate when we open up social media or wherever we are being influenced the most. We can't differentiate what is true for us and what we want versus what the world is telling us that we should do or should want and do want even. And so what I want to do today is just offer this opportunity to you to really stop and get really curious. I love that concept, and we will continue talking about our curiosity. Become really, really curious about every single thing that you are desiring. Like if you think about a vision board that maybe you have created or that you would create without giving it too much thought, what are some things that just pop into your head that would be on that vision board? And then I challenge you to get really curious about whether or not it's because they're things that you actually want and desire, or are they things that you see other people having over and over and over again on social media? And so you have adapted these wants and desires that other people hold for yourself, strictly out of being influenced, because that's what it is. That's what's happening, is you are being influenced. But I think to some degree, what all of these influences have done is they have confused us all as to who are we anymore individually, and what do we individually want? Because I can tell you, in my position in the career that I happen to be in, there are a lot of lies out there about what I should want and what I should be doing and what I should be making. And I could should all over myself about everything that the industry is telling me is quote unquote success. And I have fought this battle now for several months, and I am winning it. And the proof is in the pudding. When I had my flame rekindled back in Utah, and then it came full circle, and I was like, I don't want what those people have, because I'm not willing anymore to sacrifice what they have to sacrifice in order to have what they have and to continue doing what they're doing. And nothing against them. Like there was a time and a place where I did think I genuinely wanted that. But I think between just the personal trauma I've been through and through the health journey that I've been through, I've just really reprioritized. And what I've learned is what I actually want in this life is freedom. And what does that mean to me? That means to me that every single day I have the ability, or not even if, not everybody is going to be able to get to the point where every single day, but at least several times a week, I have the opportunity to choose myself and my health, whether it's my mental health or my physical health, or emotional health, whatever it may be, whatever I need. I can prioritize me first. And the beautiful thing that I have learned is that when I prioritize me first, which is a very, I think, scary concept for a lot of people, because it's not what we are taught to necessarily do, right? It's like our kids and our family. But here's the deal. Here's the real truth that I have learned is that when you truly prioritize yourself and what you need to be fulfilled, and typically it's going to be taking care of your physical body, whether that's it with the food that you're eating or the exercise that you're doing, the fresh air that you're getting, the sleep that you're getting, like all the things that we know that are required to feel our best and to live our best life. When you can prioritize those things, and you can prioritize finding fulfillment and purpose within your day, no matter what your day looks like, all of the people around you, especially the ones closest to you, the ones that are sharing four walls with you, they are going to end up benefiting like they have never benefited before. Because that whole thing about not being able to pour from an empty cup, you guys, it is not a joke. It's just not. And what I have learned is like success for me looks like me being really, really healthy in my mind, in my spirit, in my body, in all of the areas. And then when I am there, the amount of patience and grace and understanding and giving and caring and loving that I have available, because I have been filling my own cup, because you are the only one that can truly do that. And I think that's such a big issue, is that we all try to go to all of these external places in order to get our cups filled, when it's us, it's you individually that has the power to fill your own cup. But you have to choose you have to prioritize it. And what happens then is literally the grace and the care and the love, it's all overflowing. And so now you are genuinely, from such an organic, like genuine spot, pouring out to your family and friends, and they are reaping all the benefits. So it sounds kind of selfish, and that's okay if it does, because it is. But what I'm telling you is, in order for you to actually take the care that you want to take of the ones around you, you have to take care of yourself first. And so back to, I digress back now into like what success looks like for me. It's building a life around this idea of being able to first and foremost care for myself, fill myself up with the things that caused me just so much joy and pride. And then ultimately the energy that I need, the time I need even to care for the other people around me, it just comes naturally. And so one of the first thing that I have kind of changed is just like what success looks like. And it doesn't anymore look like earning a certain amount of money or closing a certain amount of deals or even living a certain way, which is kind of funny because I built this quote unquote dream house that I wanted and needed, and I upgraded everything. And now I'm like, well, that's not necessarily my priority anymore. And so, I'm currently figuring that out. Like, well, what does that look like? And does it still align? Can we still fit this lifestyle into what my new success looks like? Because my new success looks like getting up in the morning, helping my kids before they go to school, spending some good quality time with them, and then being able to, and when I say good quality time, I mean like 10 minutes of just like giving them hugs and helping them with their lunch or whatever. Like, I don't wake up very early, so it's not a long drawn out thing. It's just like literally being present for them for 15 minutes before they start their day, right? It's not me not working, me not on my phone, not doing anything, but just like zoning in on helping them. And then I go for a walk or a run or whatever I need in that day. And I'm not available to anybody before then. And so I fill myself up, whatever that looks like. And then doing something that adds value to me. And obviously we all have to earn income, right? And so we have to find, even no matter what you're doing right now, you have to find why were you attracted to that job, and how can you be more grateful for it? How can you improve your work situation so that it serves you, not serves the people that are there? And maybe it's getting into a leadership role, or maybe it's joining a committee that where you feel like you can really give back. Like, I don't know what your scenario is, but I know that there is a way that you can flip the script with whatever your job is. And maybe it's temporary. Maybe right now you're like, I need to do X, Y, and Z so that I can get to a place where I have the freedom that we ultimately all desire if we really break it down. And so I am really blessed in that way, is that I can kind of pivot. I can make pivots in my career. I can make changes to make sure that my heart is just all in. And then honestly, like, success to me looks like providing my family with a really wholesome meal at the end of the day. And that means like I prioritize baking sourdough because I feel so much pride using your hands, baking, having any sort of hobby that you use your hands. There is this really just, there's this magic that just makes you feel, even if you don't make, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, but having the ability to work with your hands and produce something, especially that like is just so good for your family from a health perspective, is so rewarding. And so, that's why we're doing the chickens. And like next year, I have big goals of learning how to garden and have the time and the freedom that I can spend in my garden. Is that going to maybe mean that I don't make the income that I have been accustomed to? Yep, that's what that means. But what I have learned is success no longer means to me that I'm making X amount of dollars. It means that I am making an income, doing something that I love, and taking really, really good care of people because my heart is in it. I'm not doing it for the paycheck. I'm doing it to serve others in an industry that I'm really good at and I'm really have a lot of experience in, and also provides me the freedom and flexibility to serve my family well by providing them with fresh fruits and vegetables and eggs and, all of the sourdough and all of the things, because the freedom to do that is now like the epitome of success. And so what that did for me is it basically designed this filter that I can now use to decide whether or not it fits into my new definition of success. And I use that filter now if, like there are constantly people selling me stuff, selling me coaching, selling me leads, selling me all the things. And I now have this filter and I have really big boundaries and guardrails in order to say hard no, because that is not in my plan for success anymore. And so what I hope that you can start to just think about, because I think part of the reason that success for me, well, two things. There are two reasons that I think that for so long, success meant to me accolades and rewards and income. One of the reasons is because childhood trauma, which I'm sure I'll get into at some point, but that childhood trauma caused inside of me this need and desire to prove something to someone. And I don't even always know who that person is. Sometimes it was me. Sometimes it was a colleague. Sometimes it was a family member or a friend. That person was not always the same, but the truth remains is that I was constantly trying to prove something to someone. And most of the time, unless it was me, those someones didn't matter. And also the other side of that is that I have been duped. I have been influenced by a lot of like supermodel influency real estate agents out there who now have, for a long time gave me the impression that if I wasn't doing that, if I didn't look like that, if my social media didn't look like that I was not succeeding. And so I fell for this trick. And I think a lot of us fall for that trick, and we get so far down this rabbit hole of who we should look like and what we should look like and what our lives should look like that we forget who we are. And so one of those first steps, again, it just comes back to being curious. Like, do you want that? And if you're not sure if you want that, ask yourself this question. Like, do you want to sacrifice what you would need to sacrifice for X, Y, and Z? And again, the answer could be yes. You could be in a season of growth right now where you're like, I want to scale my business and I want to grow a career and I want to climb the corporate ladder, whatever it is for you, like that, it could be yes. And that is absolutely also 100% acceptable. But you just have to make sure that you are the only one that is defining success for you. And you're not falling for these tricks that people and industries and the government and everybody else is playing on us to say that success looks like working a bajillion hours a week and not having any time for your family or for yourself or for the things that actually cause you a ton of joy. So as long as those things align, then shoot for the moon. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't ever want to have something big and bigger than I am and bigger than what I have currently grown. But what I'm saying is before I would ever choose to put myself in another season of that kind of growth, I would need to make sure that it is because it aligns with the genuine, authentic version of me, not the one that has been influenced into thinking or wanting that what the world is telling me. So I really hope that resonates with you. If you are like feeling like you're on a hamster wheel, if you are feeling like you're overwhelmed and you don't have time, like if you have ever thought, what is the point in all of this if I don't get to actually enjoy my life? This is your invitation. This is your opportunity to just spend some time, give yourself the space that you need to just do a little soul searching. And another just quick piece of advice is while you're doing this, I would try to stay far away from social media because it's so confusing. It paints really pretty pictures of lives that we think that we want. And I'm here to tell you that even if you end up getting that life, it's not necessarily going to cause you the joy and the happiness that you think that it's going to. So if this resonates with you at all, I would love to hear from you. Leslie is going to be popping on soon to record another episode. So definitely check back for her next solo episode. And her and I, we still have big hopes and dreams for the Banyan Effect podcast. And we're hoping that we can come back together very regularly, just not as regularly as we want to put out episodes. So for the time being, it's just going to be one of us at a time, and maybe a guest speaker if we can line that up. But we appreciate your continued support and your patience and your just understanding that we're navigating this just like you all are navigating anything in your life. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Please share this episode. And if you found any value in this, again, please reach out to me and or share it with somebody you think could benefit from this topic today. So thank you again, and we will see you again soon on the Banyan Effect podcast. Oops. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you liked what you heard, we'd love it if you would hit the subscribe button.
We love hearing from our listeners, so drop us a comment, share your thoughts on social, or review wherever you listen to podcasts. Your feedback keeps us going and helps us bring you the content you want to hear.
As always, we appreciate your time and company. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep listening to the Banyan Effect podcast.